everyone, I'm Steve Cook.
I'm Felix Valentino.
We're here for Shape You. We're going to take you today through a chest exercise. Or a chest workout. We're in the gym here. Everyone likes to come in and train chest right off the bat. So a beginner workout, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we're going to get more advanced. And then finally talk about even competition stuff. So a lot of information thrown at you. We're going to be training, hitting these big pegs. When you first come into the gym, bench press is one of those first exercises you always gravitate towards too. People love using the bench press, but right off the bat you want to learn how to do it correctly with the proper form. So we're going to do a couple warm-up sets, usually 2 or 3 I like to warm up with. If you're a beginner, really concentrate on the form first. Learn how to do the pressing movement. He's going to show you how right now. Don't train to failure when you're doing the warm-up set. Usually 10 to 12 reps. Just make sure you're nice and warm in the chest before you start adding weight. As I progress in my training, I might do more incline bench, but right off the bat, if you're a beginner, the flat bench is just a good way for overall mass. Incline bench is going to work a little bit more of the upper pec. We'll hit that later on. But for day one here in the gym, we're going to go with the flat bench. The idea isn't to use as much weight as possible, it's to work the muscle as best as possible. Felix is doing a second warm-up set here. Just a little bit more weight on each side. Again, not going to failure. And one thing on bench press is you want to make sure you keep the chest high, keep it elevated, shoulder blades are pinched back. You don't want to let too much of the anterior deltoid come into play. So keeping that chest out and high, really squeezing at the top, concentrating right from the very get-go as a beginner. Mind-muscle connection always. How much time I rest in between sets really depends on how heavy I'm going. Usually I take about 90 seconds to 2 minutes on an exercise like the bench press where I'm really focusing on max effort, going heavy. This is a compound exercise for your chest. So you're using 2 joints, your shoulder and your elbow. Big compound movement like this, a little bit longer in between. So 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Second working set here. We increase the weight a little bit. Gotta take the tank off, starting to get a little sweaty. As you increase the weight, it's all about keeping that form nice and strict, working the chest, not our egos. And in between sets, I like to stretch it out, hold for contraction, maybe grab on.
Okay, you stretch during your sets?
I do.
Okay.
I like to stretch out the muscle just because we've been contracting it.
Okay.
Contracting it. It's good in between sets. That will work. Keep it on the chest. Keep it on the chest. Up. Good set. And because I helped him out on those last couple ones, he knows next time this is what he's shooting for. He's shooting to get 10 by himself. So once he can get 10 by himself, then he will increase the weight for next time. All right, so for this exercise, we used a pretty neutral grip that's gonna work just overall areas of the chest. When you're working out the chest, you really can break it down. You have the upper, the lower, the inner, and the outer. While there's no one exercise that is specifically gonna target each area, you can do exercises that are going to put more of an emphasis on a different area. This being just a flat bench press, really concentrating on overall size, but you can switch up training inner or outer with your hand grip. More close grip is going to be more of that inner chest. The wider you get, it's going to put a little bit more emphasis on that outer chest. So as you start advancing your training, you can start applying these principles to your weak areas. Do you ever do that?
Yes, of course. If I want to train my inner chest, I go like bench press with a
close grip.
With a close grip, or I do some push-ups, some diamond push-ups, something like that.
Very nice. It gives you a nice overall balance, and that should really be your goal whenever you step into the gym, is creating an overall balanced physique.
Okay, now we do a little variation for bench press. It's a bench press with dumbbells. And why, Steve, is it good to train with dumbbells if you have a problem with your right chest?
Yeah.
It's bigger than your left chest.
So it's a great way to improve if one area, if one of your pecs is lagging, switch it up. If one side is stronger, we all have these tendencies. So if that's the case with bench press, make sure that you do a dumbbell exercise. Also, it's good just to switch it up from week to week to keep things mentally, keeps you sharper, keeps it more fun too, as if you're able to switch things up. So let's give it a go on dumbbell bench press. Again, the principle's the same. You're just able to control each dumbbell individually. So one side isn't doing more of the work like it could be on flat barbell bench press. But again, he's going all the way down, he's squeezing at the top, getting a full contraction. Nice and low. Concentrating on that chest, just as you would in a flat barbell press.
It's important to stretch your chest a little bit.
Getting that full range of motion. Very important to stretch that chest. Good.
Okay.
Good set.
Okay, Steve, another question I have is, should I push the dumbbells together or if I have to stop here?
That's a good question. So when you're doing these, you want to make sure that you never lock out completely on those elbow joints. You never want the tension to be on the joints rather than the muscle.
Okay.
So we're always trying to keep the tension constant on the pectoral muscles. So I like to stop a couple inches apart.
Okay.
They might touch, but as long as your elbows are not locked out, that's good.
So it depends on how big is your dumbbell.
It really does depend on how big the dumbbell is, you know. But like on anything that you're doing in the gym, you never want the majority of the weight to be on those joints.
Okay.
That really gets hard on your body. So again, keeping it on the muscle, we're trying to develop the muscles here, not worrying so much about how heavy we lift.
So always have the tension in your muscles.
For our second chest exercise, Felix and I are going to be performing incline dumbbell press. Now the incline is going to be working the upper pec, this area, as well as another overall mass movement because it is, again, a compound set. I like doing compound sets at the beginning of my workouts because I'm stronger. You need more weight to do these compound exercises because it recruits more secondary muscles. But here we've set the bench up at about 45 degrees. We're going to be doing one warm-up set and then 3 working sets, pyramiding up in weight again. Right around 10 reps is the goal.
So it's also important to do a warm-up set. If you do a new exercise, also it's similar to the 3 exercises before, it's important to warm up your muscles again.
And again, it is important because it's a little bit different than the flat bench, so you want to make sure you're able to do the exercise smoothly. By performing a warm-up set, you prepare your body, in essence, for the heavier sets on this one. Because it's a different movement, it's important. All right. We are jumping into our working sets here on incline dumbbell press. We're going to be pyramiding up in weight again, just like we did on the flat bench press. So we're going to start off with a weight that I can get to 10 reps fairly easy. It's going to be a little bit strenuous, but as we get heavier, it's going to get harder and harder. And on that third set, hopefully I fail at 10.
So you always hold the tension in these muscles, do not pull the dumbbells together. Nice to see. Breathing. Yeah, very nice.
As you can see, I stopped just short of failure. 10 reps was somewhat easy there, but it'll get harder and harder. And on that last set, it should be completely spent. And as you progress in your training, I like to add maybe a 4th set in there. After a couple of years of getting ready for a competition, I might do 4 to 5 sets, depending on what my goals are at the time. So one of the advanced training principles that I like to use, or a shocking principle as I like to call it, is a drop set. And this comes in handy if you're advanced in your training or if you're getting ready for a competition or if your gym doesn't have weights that go heavy enough. So that's starting off with a heavy dumbbell, doing as many as you can, and then dropping it immediately and going lighter. It's a way to extend the set, make it harder, really stress those muscle fibers. We're gonna do it here because I typically go a little bit heavier, so in order to stress the muscle enough, I'm gonna do a drop set. And immediately,
No break.
I grab the lighter weight and continue forcing some reps out.
Now we start with another exercise. We do some dips for our chest. So it's important that you work with dips with your chest and not with your triceps. We try to give our upper body horizontal and not very good.
This exercise is really designed to work the lower and outer portion of your chest. Making sure that you do it for chest is going to be something that is going to be a little bit tougher. This is not necessarily a beginner exercise. It takes a while to really be able to feel the chest in this exercise. It's very easy to let the triceps take over. So watch it, perform it, master it, and then you'll be able to do it with weight. Upper body is going to be coming forward, and as you come down, you keep the chest high. Don't let it concave. Keep it extended and high, and flex at the top. No locking out again. Stopping short. So all the way down. Stopping right there. Keeping that tension on the chest.
And it's easier to do it the other side. If you do normal dips, you do it like this one. But if you do it the dips for the chest, turn your side and do it on the other side.
When you do a tricep extension, it's important to have your elbows next to the side. But I let my elbows flare out a little bit on a chest dip because it's more of the squeezing motion as you would get in a press exercise for chest. So I let my elbows come out a little bit to the side. It's more risky on the chest or on the shoulder joints, but that's why you have to really concentrate on form. Like I said, a little bit tougher on the shoulders, but if you do them nice and slow and controlled, you're not going to be putting yourself at risk of injury, and you'll really get a good squeeze. For this first working set, I'm going to be using a 20 kg dumbbell, and I'm going to be trying to perform at least 10 repetitions here. Again, stretching it all the way down, coming up but not locking out, keeping that tension on my chest by leaning forward.
Now it's my last set with the dips for chest. I will now do the drop set. I do my dips with weight and until failure, and then I put the weight off and do another reps, about 5 reps, and only with body weight until failure.
This is more of an advanced training principle. So if you're just a beginner, don't feel the need to do drop sets just yet. Good set. Completely wiped out. That's how you should be. For our last chest exercise, we're going to be doing a cable fly. Now this is an isolation movement for the chest. So before we were using 2 joints in all of our chest movements. Here, it's a single joint movement in our shoulders. So we're going to be doing a little bit higher repetitions, shooting for 12, at least 12 to 15. And we're going to be doing 1 warm-up just to get the feel, and then 3 working sets. This one's a great one to finish it off, and because it's a cable, it's going to feel a little bit different than the free weights. I like doing a little bit of both just to make sure I'm working the muscle to its full capability. First one's a warm-up set. Stopping a couple reps short of failure there. Again, full range of motion. Stretch to contraction there. Breathing out as I contract, nice and slow on the way back. But because it is a cable, you're gonna be working the muscle in a full range of motion, constant tension on the muscle there. It's a great way to finish it off, gives you a massive pump. And because it's an isolation exercise, I like to take only about a minute on my rest here. Shorten down that rest period of time because it's not as physically demanding as some of those presses. If you were to look at my back when it's up against the pad here, when I do any kind of chest exercise, my shoulder blades in the back are pinched together. And what that does is it forces your chest out. And you squeeze, you never let your chest fall back in. That'll make those anterior delts take over. Pinch the shoulder blades, squeeze with the chest, keeping the tension all on the chest and off of the delts. So this will be our second working set. We've gone up in weight. We're still gonna shoot for 12 to 15 reps. Pinch the shoulder blades, chest high. Squeeze. 12. There. Hitting failure there on my own. Getting a very good pump from all of our chest exercises, finishing off with this one, forcing a lot of blood into those pecs.
So that's my third working set. I go on to failure by myself, and then Steve will help me some repetitions.
We're gonna make Felix work here. Good. Keep those shoulder blades pinched, chest out. Come on, this is the last exercise. Give it all you got. You can see his chest never concaves, keeps it out, squeezing it, controlling the weight. Come on. Hold and then fight it on the way back. Fight it.
Okay, it's enough.
Give it a stretch afterwards. Nothing too much, just get the blood moving around.
I think that's some nice information. Some guys told me never stretch during your training, but I think the results from Steve say something different.
You know, stretching before your workout, static stretching before your workout has been shown to decrease strain, but what I do really isn't hardcore stretching. And what I mean by that is I'm not sitting and holding a stretch for a long period of time. I'm more just moving around, getting the blood in and out of the muscle, and also flexing. Yes. That was our chest training. We hit 4 exercises. It's a pretty good chest pump today. And again, feel free to substitute barbells and dumbbells, cable machines. Try what works for you. If you're a beginner, don't feel the need to use those shocking principles just yet. As you progress in your training, then you can start adding them as you get more knowledgeable. But it was a great chest workout.
Thank you, man, for your tips.
Good job. For more information about diet, training, supplementation, and overall health, make sure you check out shapeu.de.
Wir sehen uns auf shapeu.de.